Good job, Stugotz.
Okay,
Great
that's
start
right.
to
Well,
the
this
workday.
is one of the reasons he always wins, but that wasn't the start to his workday. It happened just moments before, and we'll get to our beloved Stan Van Gundy in a second. You guys will love what he just said to me. With all the care and insanity that has been poured into this musical, he just burps out of the side of his mouth. Hey, can I tweet out the play? The play, not the musical.
Yeah.
The play.
That's a good point.
Can I tweet out the play?
Yeah. Well, can I? I mean,
Does Stan know that he was kind of the inspiration for this whole musical?
I don't think Stan knows anything about our musical. Let's welcome in our beloved Stan Van Gundy. Just general thoughts, Stan, on the show doing a musical.
It sounds pretty absurd, actually.
yeah.
That's all you've got for us?
It felt pretty absurd
That's
as
all
well.
I've got. I don't know
pretty
anything
good.
more about it, but you guys doing a musical sounds absurd.
All right, we will play a snippet of one of them, and we're going to play the whole thing for the audience at the end of today during the post-game show.
I finally heard it today. Like, 'cause, like
You heard the whole thing?
I mean, I just got it. It's in our possession now. Like JT and Mike just gave it to us like at midnight tonight, like last night, just finally giving us a chance to listen to it.
You heard the entire play?
No, I have not heard the whole thing yet. I heard the song that I feature on, and I love it. It's amazing.
Okay, he made the play joke again, and you just wanted to talk about you and your role. There's a little bit of Stugotz in everybody. Can you play a snippet of this for Stan Van Gundy? And we're going to wait for a second for Whittingham to find this. But last night, Stan, Whittingham and Cody were talking about a backbreaker. What a backbreaker that was last night. It just felt terrible for the Heat. They were outscored 15 points in the last 6 minutes, and teams in that scenario, when you're down in that scenario, were 2,488 before last night.
What?
That doesn't happen very often. What happened last night? But Stan, you've dealt with some horrors. When that happens, do you sleep? Like, how does when you suffer one of the awful ones that punch you, that kick you in the balls, like how do the next 10 hours go?
Yeah, you do. You're going to question every move you made as a coach in the last few minutes and the whole thing. But you're also aware there's perspective. I mean, they're the number one team in the East, and Eric's been at it long enough. There's perspective. You know, these things happen. I mean, they do, and more in today's game. I mean, comebacks, regardless of that record, comebacks in general are just sort of normal now. Big comebacks, like, you know, coming from 20 down, it's just, things happen. I mean, the 3-point shot and the pace of the game, you're just going to have a lot of those things.
Stan, Tyler Hero he's made a leap. I feel like he's made a leap this year. And I'm wondering.
A leap?
Yeah, he's made a leap.
There's a leap? Wait a minute.
I thought he turned a corner.
Wait a minute. There's a leap that's been made?
I feel like he's made a leap.
Lamb
Not the
turned a
leap.
corner.
Not the leap.
No, a leap. Just a leap, not
It's
the
different
leap.
than the leap.
There's another leap. But is there another leap, Stan?
There is another leap. Of course, let's give him our hierarchy, first of all,
Yeah.
and ask him where Tyler Hero gets put. Start from the bottom, ignore the detour. Just go start all the way from the bottom, and Stan, help us. Where do you put Tyler Hero on this list?
So, Stan, the other day we were asking if Bam Adebayo turned a corner, and that led us to the conversation of the hierarchy of steps forward in one's NBA career, or perhaps sporting career more generally, because the first step
Too much time on our hands.
is welcome to the show. Yeah. Then it's come out of the gates. Then it's baby steps. Then there's a divergent path, the fork in the
Ignore
road.
those. Just go
Okay,
straight to
fine.
the positives.
Well, you know, there's pump the brakes, there's fly too
wait a
close to the
second.
sun, and there's cup of coffee.
Baby steps should be first.
I'm with her.
No,
Yeah.
you got to come out of the gates.
You're a
then you're
baby
then
before
you're
you come
taking
out of the
baby
gate.
steps.
I don't want to
You gotta
relitigate.
crawl before you walk.
I wasn't here
Thank
when
you,
we
Stugotz.
litigated this.
We have an infant coming out of the gate.
Okay, we do.
Straight out of the gate. Exactly. Then you pass the sniff test. Then you're taking off. Then you're making strides. Then you're making a statement. Then you're having a coming out party. Dirk Nowitzki gave us that one. Arrived.
Here we go with Stan's
Fine.
email again.
Jesus.
Arrived. Next step.
Get mad at me with a
Do
mute
it in the
button.
Mecca. And then we get to a leap. Followed by a leap. You turn the corner. Then you take flight. Then you defy description. Then you make the leap. Does this make sense?
Stan, your thoughts.
You agree?
What are my thoughts?
Want to change them around? I mean,
What's your order?
Where are Bam?
Can you leap around the corner?
You leap after.
Don't be ridiculous.
That would be quite a game.
I mean, yeah.
That would be
No,
quite a
that's how I
game.
got ran over by a skateboarder a few weeks ago.
You turn a corner to make the leap. To
Okay,
make a
very
leap
good.
and to make the leap. But read him after turn the corner. Because first of all, are you willing to acknowledge that Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero have turned the corner?
I don't feel like Bam Adebayo is really improved this year. I think he's a really good player,
That
but
offense, Stan.
I don't think he's any better this year than he has been. But Tyler Hero has been in the sense that he can and has many times this year carried them. He hasn't been a secondary guy, hasn't been a role guy. He's been the focus of people's scouting reports and has still gone out and gotten the job done. I mean, I think he's already got 6th man of the year wrapped up.
Gotten the job done might be on there somewhere. Gotten the
Yeah.
job done might be
Love
something
that.
we need to add to the
Is
list.
that after the
here.
mountaintop?
Got
Because that's
the
kind of the same.
No, the mountaintop is
Well,
something.
the mountaintop's
I
a
don't think
champion.
he's
The
got, I don't think
mountaintop
he's
is
gotten
Michael
to the
Jordan.
mountaintop.
Oh, I thought the mountaintop's a championship.
No, it's Jordan.
Stan's not giving us the mountain. He's not at the
No,
mountaintop.
he hasn't gotten to the mountaintop.
Do it in the
No.
playoffs. You have to do it in the playoffs in order to get to the mountaintop. I want to give you this.
Well, then you have to do it again. Dan.
That's right, of
Yes,
course.
right.
You have to do it again. Basketballref.com, I'm assuming, has put out a group of probabilities, championship probabilities, statistically. Your guesses around here for who is number one, who is most probable, and it's by a lot, to win the championship in the NBA this year.
The Suns.
Can I get some guesses from the room?
I'm gonna go. I've heard a lot that the statistical models favor the Celtics, because they're very good on defense. So I'm gonna go for the Celtics.
Stugotz, you got a guess?
I'm going to say the Sixers.
Okay, so wow, wide divergence here. Stan, what would you say? Who should be the favorite, the probabilities favorite to win the title?
Well, it all depends on who's going to have a roster. I mean, Phoenix has been dominant, but the Chris Paul thing changes everything right now. I mean, we're not even sure he'll be back, in the first round of the playoffs, and then you don't know afterwards. So I think that's the big one to me. And then you don't know what Golden State's going to be. I mean, are they going to have Draymond Green back? Are they going to be whole? I mean, those are the two best teams in the league, and they haven't been whole. So, I'm surprised there's anybody other than maybe Phoenix who would be a dominant choice by anyone.
It is Phoenix. Phoenix is 25.3. Golden State is next, 16.6. I think you might all be surprised by number 3.
Nets.
I think you all, not Nets. Keep going. Let's see
Bulls.
until someone gets it. No, let's see. Keep just shouting teams until someone gets it.
Heat.
Well, the third best team has been Memphis. So
Nope, not Memphis. That's,
Utah?
That is it. Utah is 14.
I almost said that.
That's not
Then
good
I thought I
enough.
would be
Almost,
stupid.
almost
Beat you to
is,
the punch.
Almost is pretty
Damn it.
useless. That doesn't help anybody.
I know I was right in my head.
Utah is 14.1. Miami is 10.6. Milwaukee's only 3. The Sixers are 2, and the Lakers are 0%.
well,
I think
the
that's too high.
Yeah, the Lakers, that might be too high. I was going to say the same thing.
Dan, sometimes you can be curmudgeonly about like things like voting and things like that. The idea of the Heat playing Tyler Hero off the bench, to basically get him the 6th Man of the Year award, he's a starter. Why is he not starting?
Well, I don't think they're doing it to get him the 6th.
I think they are.
No, I think that they want more of a mix, and they've got a very good defensive starting lineup. I don't think that they necessarily wanted to start Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson together. That would be a pretty big defensive step back, and they feel like they've got enough offense in that first unit, and then Tyler Hero comes off the bench and has been outstanding. I like the mix and the rotation they have. They've been the best team in the East record-wise and by the eye test. They've had guys hurt all year, and they're still number one. I mean, I think even though they're up only a game and a half, that they've, in the regular season at least, been the best team by a pretty good margin in the East. The wild card to me is Brooklyn, who somebody threw their name out because, I don't know, they're going to play very few games together, but if all of a sudden they're trotting out there with, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, Joe Harris, Seth Curry, Patty Mills, Andre Drummond. I mean, that
it's a good
team is
man.
going to – I mean, here's the thing. They're going to end up in the play-in, and so you're going to be the number 1 or 2 seed, and that's going to be your first-round matchup. Like, I think they take down Chicago in the first round. I would still favor the Heat by a little bit against them, but I think they would take down Chicago. And so Chicago could go all year, be the number 2 seed, have this great year, and be out in the first round.
Have some faith, Stan. I have a question for you, though. When a twerp like Chris Whittingham says that you are curmudgeonly,
God damn.
how do you receive that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
That sounds like a pretty accurate representation.
Fair enough.
So
I think it's
it would
kind.
be
Stan knows
pretty hard
himself.
to argue.
I
I mean, listen, it's like people, they'll get on Twitter and the big comeback at me is how fat I am, as if that's going to upset me, as if like I don't know that. Like I live in a house without a scale and without mirrors or something. So, like if somebody tells you who you are, you just sort of go, yeah, okay. That sounds like me.
They also like to hit you though with some form of fired coach of what is that?
Yeah.
What does that guy know? They don't go the next step that I would go of. That guy turned down the Golden State job so he could coach in Detroit or some version thereof.
That hurts.
And Steve Kerr just got into the top 15 coaches of all time.
Could have been you, Stan.
I'm just saying, Stan, I know you said you wanted the ownership in Detroit and we're being unfair to you. I'm just saying you should have angled for that job a little more.
I mean, listen, there's so many criticisms you can make of me and my career. So, I don't know why I'm going to get worried about him. I find it funny when people throw that stuff at me. Actually, I find it pretty amusing.
Stan, when you wear one of these things, like, yeah, I know that I'm a former head coach. I know this. Like, you think it takes the power away from the mean Twitter commenters? Because I think Rex Ryan took the power away from the foot fetish people making fun of him when he started making fun of it himself.
I mean, I don't know if I take the power away. I mean, I don't think they have any power anyway. It's Twitter. None of us have any power. It's Twitter. So I don't know if that's a powerful medium.
Well, the power to make you legitimately upset, I guess.
Listen, one of the things I learned early on, well, there's a couple. Number one,
not how to
One of
fix
them's
that
turning off your
beeping on
phone.
your computer.
I don't know how to
Great.
fix it.
I love this segment though. Life
If you
lessons with
get-
Stan Van Gundy.
Stan Van Gundy, you get a curmudgeon who cannot fix his computer, okay?
Fair enough. Hey, fair enough.
That's it. You decide if you want me on. This is practice.
Thank you, Stan.
It's what he's going to say in his tombstone. After a life spent living, what have I learned in life? You're getting a curmudgeon, and I don't know how to turn off my phone. What a pleasure that must be to be married to.
That's where I am. You get me. That's it.
We interrupted your point, though. Do you remember what it was before your computer
Yeah, I
started beeping
do.
again?
Like, if you're going to go into coaching, and this isn't me, I think it's everybody, you don't find very many thin-skinned people in coaching. Maybe some. I mean, you're going to get a ton of criticism. And then the thing I really learned is not to worry about criticism from anybody you wouldn't take advice from. So there's a lot of people out there criticizing. Why would I care what they have to say? It's not like I respect their opinion about sports or coaching or anything else. Most of them are criticizing me on Twitter. I don't even know who the hell they are. Why would I worry about what they have to say? So yeah, no, that stuff's not going to bug me. That's why I find it funny. These people throw out comments, and I think some of them feel like, oh, I'm really like stabbing that guy. I'm really hurting him. I mean, who cares?
Stan, where's the line on that? Like, would you respect my opinion if I was criticizing you?
Oh, that's a good question.
No.
Where is
On basketball? No, not at all.
What about food topics?
Well, I'm a little arrogant on that. Like, I just don't think.
I'm pretty strong in that category, Stan.
Yeah, but I just don't think anybody can match me there. So,
debatable.
I mean,
Wow.
I find myself, I really feel that I'm the foremost authority
That's highly
on
questionable.
food in this country. And so, no, I don't really. If other people have opinions, they're lesser opinions.
I
So
love that.
I have on this list, just to complete this silly, stupid list to give Heat fans something to talk about. The fourth team on that list is the Miami Heat at a 10.6% chance, and Boston is right after that. That's the top 5. The Nets sort of break the whole. the Nets.
Jason Tatum guy's playing pretty good, Dan. You yelled at me about a month ago. I mean,
Because
the Nets
you made him Kevin Durant. He's not
First of all,
Kevin
I
Durant.
broadcast now more Boston games than their local network does. Tonight will be my 4th Boston game in 3 weeks. I don't know why, but we have every Boston game. So I've seen them play a lot, and they're really good. And their defense is the best I've seen of any team in the last few years. It's outstanding. I just don't know with them if they have enough offense beyond Tatum and Brown. Like, I look at Miami, and they've got a lot of different guys who can have a good night. If Giannis has a bad night, they've got Middleton, and they've got, Drew Holiday. With Boston, I mean, if those guys don't play well, and in the playoffs, both of them, they just don't have a chance to win. They don't have another guy. So I can't see them. Well, I can see them beating anyone in a series, and this may sound contradictory. I can't see them winning 3 series in a row. I can't see them getting out of the East.
Stan, Dan asked me which game you're doing soon or have you done recently, and I couldn't find it anywhere on the internet. All I found was that it turns out, do you guys know this? So we made headlines last week with your appearance on the program talking about Zion Williamson. Like the New York Post and Yahoo and all these places ran your comments about the Knicks. Did you get any reaction on street level with your ear on or your finger on the pulse with your comments about Zion last week?
Was his finger on the pulse, or was his ear to the ground?
Ear to the
street.
I
Ear to
forgot
the
that
street, I
expression,
think.
so I abandoned ship
His
on
ear
that.
was on the pulse.
Well, you could have your finger on the pulse and your ear to the ground.
Yeah, I
True,
guess.
yeah.
At
Ear to the
same
ground doesn't
time.
make sense as an
How
expression.
about your? You could also have in this. I was surprised by this. Your finger to your ear to see what it is that you're hearing out
you
there.
also have your finger in the air, see where the wind's blowing?
Oh yeah. Throw up some
Yeah.
grass.
You got to
throw some
lick it
grass
first, though, right?
Yes,
Hell
you
yeah.
do.
Yeah, that's a key part of that. So Stan, any Knicks reaction to your Zion comments?
Essential point.
Are you public enemy number 1 in New York?
I think at this point the Knicks fans are just hoping the season will get over. So I don't think they really want to engage on basketball. Now it'll come back when the season's over, because then you'll get all the trade rumors and everybody wants to come to New York and all of that stuff. But right now, I think the Knicks fans are basically in hiding.
Stan, has Ja Morant announced himself?
Ooh, the announced himself.
I think he announced himself long ago. Yes. He is phenomenal. It's like every night, that you're going to see some incredible highlight. Just beyond his production, he's going to do at least one thing, if not more, in a game where you're just amazed. I mean, the other night against San Antonio, he had that ridiculous dunk on Jakob Poeltl. I mean, Jakob Poeltl is a big dude who never gets out of the way. So you have to go over the top of him. And most people go into him and double pump and everything else to just decide, like, from 12 feet away from the basket, I'll just take off and dunk on this guy as a point guard is amazing. And then that play at the end of the first half where Adams threw the full court pass and he caught it in the air and shot it. I mean, like, the stuff he does, we don't see out of anyone else, particularly at that position. So
give me a comp.
he's
Give me a historical comp, because Iverson was not this kind of efficient as a player, and he wasn't this kind of explosive. Iverson wasn't going to be dunking on people like that.
Derrick Rose, maybe?
Derrick Rose. Yeah, I think that was the one. I mean, I think is the a young Derrick Rose was the guy who did this stuff, but he couldn't stay healthy, unfortunately. But that's the only point guard I can think of who was doing those things, just going at the rim, challenging shot blockers and dunking over the top of them. I think the amazing thing with Ja Morant, though, on top of all the athleticism and stuff, and you don't see this with every star, but his teammates absolutely seem to love him. I mean, he had the 50 points the other night, and, there's a picture of all of his teammates there holding up the 5-0. I mean, they love his accomplishments. There doesn't seem to be any jealousy. Nobody's upset that he's taking 20 shots a night. He's got this charisma about him. He's really an amazing star, and someone, that it's hard to find, particularly in the small markets. So Memphis in great shape with him in more ways than just his play on the court.
Stan, Derek Jeter. He was here for 5 years. He got his $25 million back that he put into the team. What did you make of all the Jeter news this week and him leaving?
Yeah, I just didn't see it as a real big deal. I mean, myself, but I'm not there. Listen, unfortunately, because I used to be a Marlins fan and lived there, unfortunately, the Marlins have just not been good enough for any move in their front office to really be important to anybody in baseball. Plus, we've got the lockout going on that has obscured everything else in the game. So I think it flew way under the radar, even with it being a guy like Derek Jeter. And I don't think in most places anyone cared, quite honestly.
Irrelevance.
That's fine. Let's move on past the really
Marlins
famous
irrelevance.
Derek Jeter that we've been talking about nonstop for 2 days, and get a yawning Stan Van Gundy to tell us nobody cares, and then he sips vigorously
From a DC.
from a Diet Coke after
That's
eating.
an
Well,
old
it's
school
not like
bottle.
Derek
Yeah.
Jeter stepped down from, like the Yankees or.
All right, we get it. You've taken enough
Right.
shots
The
in the Marlins.
Marlins
We
suck.
get it.
We
Yeah,
know.
we get it.
No, but or even from like a really good team like the Rays.
He's not wrong about the Marlins not being relevant. Look at the face of
Good
Chris
thing we
Cody.
spent 4 hours talking about it this week.
Yes.
Is that how our audience felt?
Probably.
Probably. Yeah.
But Derek
That's how I
Jeter,
felt.
but the audience does sometimes like shiny things.
Are you team Billy Gill or David Sampson, Stan? That's the real question.
He has no idea what
Yeah,
the
but I
fuck
feel like
you're
he
talking
knows.
one.
I feel like he's
Pick
got a
one.
sense.
Too
I feel like he's
inside.
got a
You
sense.
have
He
to pick
doesn't.
one.
Okay, great.
Gun to your head,
He's
Billy.
going to be
You-
pro
you-
Billy
you didn't
without
get-
even knowing.
You didn't get the impression that Stan Van Gundy didn't care at all about the Jeter conversation, and now you're doubling down with, were you listening to the show yesterday?
You got to pick a side.
Stan?
You got to pick a side.
He's Chris Cody. I mean,
Let's play.
I'm gonna pick the Tampa Bay Rays over the Marlins. How about that as
So
picking
Billy.
a
He's
side?
on team Billy.
how about Billy or David though? Just
I
say
don't
Billy.
really know I don't know what the argument is. David Sampson was an executive with the Marlins, and Billy's never run a team, so I don't know what we're talking about.
Sounds like Team
Oh,
David
man.
to me.
Wow, Billy's going to be pissed.
Woof.
Play some of the you guys sports arguments. I don't like this person because they have a sports opinion. Let's go ahead and play some musical for Stan Van Gundy here so we could get his assessment. At the end of the day today, we are going to release this play, as Stugotz likes to call it.
Very
At
exciting.
the end of the day. And this is just one snippet that we've already given the audience, but we are giving to Stan Van Gundy now totally for free.
Here we go. This one's for all the glory. Give it your best, it's all you got. Don't look back. Oh, it's all part of the story. You talk the talk, now walk the walk. Yeah.
When the game's on the line, will you have the guts to make the call? When it's crunch time, will you make us scream, God bless football?
From the back of
Jessica and Chris Cody are dancing. Chris Cody, a very vulnerable Chris Cody, stopped his dancing to just whisper in my ear, Stan's not dancing at all.
No. Seemed
No, the
bored.
music was great and the talent is obvious on the song. How many songs are in your music?
11, just 11.
11. Okay.
What do you mean just 11?
It was the
11 is a lot of
It was
music.
my joke.
That is a lot of music, and that was tremendous. I don't know how many cliches you can fit into one song,
So many.
Not
songs.
enough.
but you got plenty in, and the talent was great. I mean, yeah, it'll be fun, I think.
Okay, thank you, Stan, for that appraisal.
I just can't wait till later today when Stan's in the shower. He's like, I'm all in.
Well, this has happened to all of us.
What is the title of the musical?
It's called The Big Game. It is a song celebrating football.
Is it the big
and-
game? It's nothing stops the NFL is the overarching.
It's the big
theme.
game.
But
It's called The Big Game,
That's one
yeah.
of the big songs, but it's called The Big Game.
It's a football musical that's called The Big Game.
Very good.
Inspired by you, Stan, and the Christmas Carol segment that we did with you in December. That's when we realized, there might be some musical
Stan
chant.
Van Gundy,
Well,
Stan Van
you-
Gundy, Stan Van 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 Gundy,
Stan Van Gundy.
It's really beautiful.
Should be your ringtone.
It really should be. Can you make it? He'll never figure out how to do it because he doesn't
No,
know how
heck
to work.
no, I would never figure that out.
I would love though
The changing of a ringtone?
I can't figure out how to change his ringtone, but if someone would do that for him, I would love that. Anytime Stan was in mixed company and someone was calling him,
It would make his email notification going off more tolerable if that was it.
if just it sounded like angels singing his name. I do feel like that song right there is what's going to greet you at the
the pearly gates?
At the gates of hell is what I was gonna say.
Well, yeah, I would
Why
say the
send
Gates
them to
of Hell
hell?
has
I
a
mean-
lot better chance than the Pearly Gates.
Oh, Browse is over
I mean, listen, that's where Art Briles lives, okay? You're way better of a person than he is, all right?
Put it on the poll. Is Stan Van Gundy way better of a person than Art Briles?
Well, what's the next job that Art Briles is going to have for like a week?
Isn't
We
it?
had the Canadian Football League, and now we've had Grambling. Like, who's the next team that's going to hire him for a week?
Perfect.
Outkick, Fox. Who's going to hire him?
Hell State.
I mean, it's just like you knew it was coming. As soon as Hugh Jackson hired him, you knew, like, and that's not going to go.
The Devils.
New Jersey.
Arizona State. Yeah.
Hell State Devils.
Wake Forest,
Duke?
maybe. Yeah.
The Deeks.
Demon Deacons.
But you're right, though, Stan. How is it that the mistake keeps getting made where these people don't seem to understand? You're welcoming to your gate so much protest that it is absolutely not worth whatever it is you're getting from him.
The only thing I can think, quite honestly, is, the whole idea of just, well, we know he's actually not going to coach here because of the protests, but we're going to take a team that nobody ever talks about and we get to be in the headlines for a few
Oh,
days.
no. Come
So,
on, Stan. You think they
I don't know. I
That
mean, come
can't
on.
be it.
Could
Come on.
Hugh Jackson really have thought that he was going to have Art Briles and people weren't going to protest and he was going to end up with him actually coaching on the field?
He doubled down after the hire. Like when the heat started coming, the explanations were longer and made you wish for the preferred silence.
Like, look, I don't have a problem. Like, giving people second chances and stuff to me is a good thing, but it's not where we are right now. And there's no way Art Briles is not going to coach at the college level. It's ridiculous to try to hire him.
Stan, what's your policy on washing jeans? We're debating back here. Tony says he never washes his jeans. And a few of us are saying after like 2 or 3 wears, we'll wash them. What's your strategy?
Yeah, that's about it. I would say 2, 3, 4 wears, then I'm washing them. I'm not washing them every day, but I'm certainly not never washing
No,
them
Tony
either.
says he washes them every day unless something happens, and then Lewis said spaghetti.
What could happen?
Something happens.
bad.
You know, you spill you're at a barbecue joint. All of a sudden, barbecue gets on your jeans. You got to wash them. The
Barbecue
thing is,
joint.
Yes,
the more
that's
you
for
wash
sure.
them, the more
Is
they
that
get
what you
worn
did in
out.
California?
So what's the longest you've gone without having to wash them because nothing happened?
Yeah, like a
Well, I
couple
live
months.
in Florida, so most of the time I'm in shorts, so I'm not even wearing jeans most of the time unless I'm out on the road. So, I mean, I could go a long time without washing them, but I haven't worn them.
It's a dangerous game in South Florida with the swass.
It is.
Yeah, yes. I mean, in Florida, I'm not. It's really not a good day if I have to put on a pair of long pants.
Can we talk more about the swamp ass or the
It's a great poll
the
question, by the
the
way.
swass?
The
As,
swass,
Chris
that's a
Cody-
fun.
I love how he just combined the words for you evenly. He just tossed that in your
And
lap.
Stugotz
The swamp
just
ass.
fined me
Yeah.
for saying it correctly. He's saying I'm fine for not saying it what is the correct way, which is the way Chris Cody said it. But Stan, I do believe that your swamp ass must be very unpleasant in
That
Florida.
is my swamp ass isn't great.
Oh, because yours is a bed of roses over there.
I am speaking as someone who, okay.
You wear
Like,
basketball
who
shorts all the
would
time
have
for
a-
this
who would
reason.
have a-
Roses. Like,
Who would have a good one? That would be my.
Oh,
Jason
this is a
Taylor.
great game.
Michael
This is a
Jordan.
great game.
Yeah.
Jason Taylor's a great shout.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Steph Curry.
Oh, yeah.
I just no, because if you have it, then it's not good.
That's true.
Swampy South Florida ass, though, is a specific
That is
kind
true.
of ass. It's a
Rivaled only by the sweat behind the knee. You ever get the sweat? Like, that is the most uncomfortable.
Where's
I
the best
hate it.
swass?
Ooh.
Like, where's the best place to have swass? If this is the worst,
South Dakota.
What?
Hmm.
But then you're
I
in
just picked a
South
place that's
Dakota.
cold.
Well, if you have a
Minnesota.
place that's cold, you're not going to have it. Right?
Correct.
see, that's one of those
Right.
things. If it exists,
Exactly.
it's like a weird. It's like,
I don't know.
well,
So
our
it has to be
humidity.
somewhere it's dry.
Our humidity is
Ooh,
the
Vegas.
worst.
Arizona.
Vegas.
Like Vegas swamp ass?
Great
It's probably
swamp
better
ass in
than-
Vegas.
yeah.
Great swamp ass.
You get swamp ass even if it's dry.
But
You're
wait,
still hot.
Whittingham, I'm saying that humid swamp ass is the worst swamp ass, not dry swamp ass, not like Palm Springs swamp ass.
New York swamp ass, not great.
Palm Springs swamp ass is like Cologne compared to South Florida swamp ass.
Yeah, and we live with swamp ass for 9 to 10 months. That should be one of the warnings on the news. You know, when they give like the boats, like, oh, it's a rip current day. It should say today's a swamp ass day, lads.
Swamp ass is at a
it's gonna
6
be
today.
tough out
It's
there.
at a
Moderate
6 today.
choppy.
Yeah.
Yes, there should be a scale. A scale
Moderate
for swamp-
disgust.
Air quality, humidity,
Swamp ass level.
swamp
Moderate
ass
swamp
level,
ass, yeah.
UV index.
Stan, on the subject of dressing, are NBA coaches ever going to wear suits again, or is that over? It makes me sad. I miss them. I want coaches to wear suits again. Of course.
And what's your favorite salad dressing?
I sort of do too, because I thought it was unfair that I only got one season of not having to wear a suit. And so if I had to do it for 90%, well, a lot more than 90% of my career, then the vengeful part of me wants them to have to too. But I think they're smart enough not to go back to it. Though there are, believe it or not, there's a couple of coaches that want the league to go back to suits.
Ooh, name them so I can know who my favorite coaches are.
Name them.
Well, the one I can think of off the top of my head is Taylor Jenkins. He wanted, even last year in the, with COVID and no people in the stands, when we had the meeting about it on Zoom.
Who is that?
You guys just made up a name, right? That's you guys are messing with me, right?
He was one of the ones who favored
Jenkins.
going in suits. He thought it made us look more professional and everything else. So, so there are people who favor it. He was the one I remember specifically.
Thibodeau hates him, right?
Hates who?
Suits.
I don't know. I don't remember Tom commenting on that.
I feel like you can look at someone's neck and you get a good feel on how they feel about suits, right? That's the area you
Right.
look at.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem with it is it doesn't make sense, I mean, like, you're up there, you're active on the sideline, you're going back and forth. I mean, you're sweating. Why do you want to be wearing suits? I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Stan, you mentioned going back and forth. How much did you practice your pacing on the sidelines, or have you given it any thought?
Practice.
Yeah, I would. As a matter of fact, I
Are
do.
you kidding
If
me?
I were a coach, I would be practical because I think I judge coaches based off their ability to pace. Eric Spoelstra, elite pacer. Mike Budenholzer, horrendous.
I would say
I thought he was getting fired in Milwaukee because of how bad he is at pacing on the
Spoelstra's
sideline.
a better standard than he is a pacer.
Yeah,
Spoelstra, when he's got
great
his hands on his hips
great hands
inside
on
the
hips
coat
from
jacket,
Spoelstra. Fantastic.
better standard
He's
than
also
pacer.
a great pacer.
Only you would practice a pace, though, Woody.
It's just I think it's a key part of coaching is the pace.
Carlisle was a good pacer.
He was,
Pat
yeah.
Riley was a good pacer.
A great pacer. Yes.
Yeah, no, I never really practiced that. No,
Did you give any
yeah.
thought into what you were projecting with your pace?
no.
Were you more of a pacer or a stander?
I mean, a little bit of both.
Oh, I like a little mix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little mix. I mean, it all just depends on what's going on. I never really thought about it a whole lot, to be quite honest.
You're more of a guy that says, build the fucking wall.
Yes.
I said that one time.
Yes.
Different meaning in 2022. Stan, back to the topic.
That is funny. You know what? That is so funny to think that Stan, with his politics, is most virally famous in his Pistons career for screaming, build the effing wall.
Yeah, that was, people have pointed that out before, like that I would be the person to be saying that. Obviously a different meaning, but nonetheless, yes, that was me.
Back to the topic of dressing, like Woody said. What is your favorite salad dressing?
Gotta be ranch.
Yes, ranch.
Of course.
Me,
Hey,
me and
he knows
Stan.
him.
Me and
Yep.
Stan, I'm telling you.
Better
But not
than-
on salad.
How do
though.
you feel about blue cheese?
Oh, I don't like blue cheese. I'm not a blue cheese. My second favorite would just be, a little oil and vinegar.
Did you just yawn right there?
What was the
I,
joke?
no, I don't
I
think
love
so.
a mid-sentence yawn from Stan. It's one of my favorite Stan things.
Were you were making fun of Stan on the salad front, Stugotz? What did you say? You snuck in there with something
Well,
salad related.
I don't imagine Stan eats a salad very often, to be honest with you.
Wow,
What are you trying to say
that
there?
is
No,
harsh.
Stan loves food so much that why waste a meal on a salad? That's just my
Pasta
opinion.
salad, chicken
Well,
salad.
no, that's not. I actually like salads, but I know this sounds strange. This will get me a lot of people not having. I have problems digesting salads. I have like
That's what I say too.
no, I do, and I've talked to people, and it is a thing. It's fairly rare, but it does go with people who have like bad hay fever and stuff at times. I have like I love salad actually. I can only eat little bits of it. If I have salad 3 straight days, I'm gonna have major stomach.
I'm with you.
But red meat, it's like a flume from your tongue to your ass.
Oh, I mean, that's not true either. It all depends. So
Quite the visual.
What a weird thing to say.
Like a slide at a water park, you've got it? Like it's like
I have, that's right. I have a giant T-bone making its way through his digestive tract, mocking whatever salad is congested on the sides of the walls as it heads straight to the toilet.
I'm
There you
picturing
go.
the log flume from Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I've got one of those slides where it's like you're waiting for the light to turn green for you to go, and it turns green, and then the meat goes down the throat, and then it goes all the way out the ass.
Oh.
Okay, excellent work. Thank you for the
Jesus.
visual aid. He
God.
skated across the room and bumped
You
into
said a
Roy.
flume.
Right, but I didn't provide the visuals. Stan, as it relates to dressings, you said ranch. What would be second? Like I know you say oil and vinegar or just something simple, but
Yeah.
if we were saying Hall of Fame salad dressings, and not to your tastes, but just Hall of Fame salad dressing, first ballot Hall of Famers, what are they?
I don't know if there's a Hall of Fame for salad dressings. You shouldn't have a Hall of Fame for salad dressings.
You're making one up,
That's
Stan.
good. That's
don't.
good.
That's
Put some
true.
nominees
He's
Good
right.
point by him.
Stan is
We don't-
right.
It
we
doesn't
don't-
exist,
we
but we
don't-
want to have one.
But anything's better than French dressing, right?
Ketchup and mayo, that's a good combo.
On a
Yeah,
salad?
French dressing.
That's what French
I've
dressing
had it a couple of times. Yeah, not good.
Now,
Not
Stan,
good.
you've been criticized for being very basic about your food. You like plain Lays. You don't like a bunch of knickknacks with your popcorn.
Knickknacks.
What for you is like the wild side of Stan Van Gundy's diet? Like
Medium
eating,
wings.
eating something crazy, cayenne pepper wings. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I really have anything. I don't think I really have anything crazy. I mean, the thing that seems the most out there to people that I eat, I've said it on here, is, peanut butter on my French toast. That's how I'm eating French
That wins.
toast.
That's a good one.
But that's the most objectionable food opinion you have? Like most people, when they're mad at you about the food stuff, what is the most objectionable opinion? Is it that one?
I mean, listen, I told you, I'm the authority on food, so the opinion I have is objectionable.
Fair enough.
You're right on everything.
Yes, I'm right on everything. It's correct. I try to give people the answers. Some people listen, some people don't.
Stan, would you ever eat this berry and rosé flavored popcorn that we have in the kitchen? It's kind of
my God,
terrible,
no.
but I feel
Come
like
on,
maybe
stop.
it's sweet enough that you might like it.
Stop.
You're
Just
insulting him.
ruining popcorn. I mean, that's terrible.
We've got a few more basketball questions. A reminder, Stan is doing the color commentary as well as anybody who's doing it in basketball. It's informative, it's fun, and it is good. He's doing it for TNT. They've got a Thursday night game tonight. They bumped the Heat game against the Nets and Durant to give a Memphis and Boston game. You're not on that one, correct? Someone else is doing that tonight?
No, that's what I have, Memphis at Boston. We had Boston Tuesday night against Atlanta, and now we've got them here. And then after this, I actually get a couple of weeks break from the Boston Celtics. I'm doing more Celtics games than Brian Scalabrine is. So.
But in that conference, Stugotz has a question for you about another team that the last three games looks pretty overwhelming offensively.
Just the Sixers, Stan, like Harden and Embiid together. What have you seen? Listen, a couple of wins against the Knicks. We know you think they're lousy. They are lousy. But what have you seen that would be signs of encouragement for the Sixers moving forward?
Well, those two guys have played well together. It still looks to me a little bit like take your turn basketball, not with any kind of flow. It'll be interesting as they play better teams. The overwhelming thing that they've done, which you would think they're going to continue, is they get to the free throw line all the time. I mean, if you enjoy watching teams shoot free throws, that's a team you want to turn on, because the games are going to take like 3.5 hours, and you're going to see a parade to the free throw line with Embiid and Harden. So if you love watching free throws, Philly's your team.
We're going to get him out on this note, and thank you, Stan, for making these Thursdays available to us. We love you, we miss you, and we love doing the show with you. I'd like this segment to end with Chris Whittingham explaining to you how it is, and you talking us through with play-by-play, the changing of your computer settings so that it stops beeping during the doing of not just this, but your life. If in any case you care to learn, so that this isn't a disruption in other parts of your life, you can now fix it with Chris Whittingham. I've heard him have this conversation.
That was perfect timing. I mean, come on. That was perfect timing.
All right, so Stan, before the interview begins, we have a couple of choices. We can put your computer on Do Not Disturb. Now,
how do I do that?
No, okay, well, okay. I think I don't think that's the right option, because I think you'd have to turn it back off again when you're kind of back in the normal flow of things. But you have a MacBook, correct?
I do.
Yeah, I recognize that sound from a mile away. So, if you, before the interview begins, go to your Mail app, which should be on the bottom. It's like a blue icon with the white envelope. Just right-click it, which I believe on the Mac is a command click. So you, a control. So you hold control and then you click it at the bottom, the little icon.
Okay.
And then hit quit.
Hit quit. So I just quit my mail?
Yes, you quit your mail before we begin, and then after the interview is over, you open it back up again. And I'll remind you to open it back up again.
Yeah, see, that's
a dangerous game.
And now you've opened it back up again. And
now I can't get it to reopen. Now you ruined my mail.
You know what, Stan? No. Is one of the options to tell you to go fuck yourself? I mean,
I got it.
All right, so it's open again.
I believe so.
All right, cool. So next time that we do this, I'll ask you to.
You're gonna have to remind me.
Yes,
though.
Yeah, absolutely. I am on mail duty to remind you to turn it off.
Actually, Chris, I appreciate this because I have to moderate a panel on Friday
What time so I can email you?
for a symposium. No, but it's a symposium on collective bargaining agreements that the NYU
Fascinating stuff.
Law School is putting on.
Can I sit in?
A much higher level of audience and
Harsh.
people than you people.
How dare
So
you?
it would
You
be
people.
nice-
What do you mean, you
What
people?
are you talking
You
about?
people, this woke,
So,
this woke guy, you people.
so listen, for you guys, I'd actually rather have it beeping all the time. But for an NYU Law School symposium, I would actually like to see more intelligence.
I have just, and we'll let you go, Stan.
There's no way you're going to remember any of that.
Thank you. Yes, you are a former person who is not, who is, you proclaim the start of this interview that you're done with learning, that you know these only two things. But I have heard Chris Whittingham, I'm not overstating this when I say this, that Chris Whittingham every day during the pandemic has had this conversation with 7,000 old people. And I believe that Chris Whittingham's experience with the pandemic and doing that has been worse than the actual pandemic. I believe it's an asylum and a nightmare
Yeah.
of unique awful.
I once spent 5 minutes staring at the chin of Stephen A. Smith because he just couldn't figure
That's
out like
amazing.
where
I
the
love
camera
it.
was coming from.
Just leave people alone, man.
Yeah.
See you later, Stan. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, see ya.
Love you.